Hi everyone. I'm very excited to do this one with Anish. I think we met in very unwholesome circumstances at Glastonbury Stone Circle, but is a producer, DJ who has made quite a lot of waves in the last few years, has done collaborations with the likes of Barry Can't Swim, Bolty, been co-signed by the likes of Fortet, Bonobo, a lot of self-releases, a lot of music that's got a lot of people's ears, done releases as well with the likes of Technicolor, Ninja Tune. We're going to get into a little bit about his story and process and how he's got into the industry. So please everyone give it up for Anish Kumar.
Thank you. Very happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
The most wholesome setting we've met in, I think.
I think so. Bleary memories of Stone Circle.
Yeah. We normally start, or I normally start when I do these chats at the beginning and sort of like those early steps into music making, like how you got into it, why you got into it. Can you talk us a little bit about that era?
Yeah, of course. I think like for me, I got into music when I was around like 10, 11. For context, I'm 26 now. So that was just kind of me being on my laptop as a kid, being kind of a nerd, kind of like everything I did was on my laptop. I would like edit videos, I would like mess around in GarageBand and that kind of thing. And I always really enjoyed making something in GarageBand and then bouncing it out and then calling it mine and then like bouncing it and then making a little EP and then calling it like Anish Kumar, this is the stuff. And that kind of process of compiling projects, that love for that has never gone away for the last 15 years. And I would make them in iTunes and then kind of make my artwork, some terrible render in Photoshop, and then
you would literally do your own artwork.
I would
for
do
early tunes,
track titles, artworks. It was so important to me how it looked and how it was assembled, and that has never gone away. And that's what I was doing at 10. I was making little beats. I was trying to recreate Eminem instrumentals.
Shout out Dr. Dre.
Shout out, yeah, exactly. And then that has just never stopped. That obsession about making a product like that and putting my name to it and being like that. You know, this is my output.
One thing I've heard you say, going straight in at the deep end, one thing I heard you say in an interview is it's not necessarily about being a producer, it's about being an artist and like what are you saying, what are you conveying. And it feels like if we were literally thinking about the whole package, how it's presented, the track titles, is that something that you just like gravitated to and kept that mindset throughout? Or
yeah, exactly. I think there's like one thing making a tune and being like, this is my tune, but there's another thing, you know, putting together an album, putting together an EP, having the whole visual around it, and saying like, this is what I'm doing with this project. And it's that approach that I sort of like have kept along with me to this day. Yeah.
So presumably in those early days, it was just for fun and no one was hearing it, right?
Correct.
And then when do you think it evolved into a place, was it an obsession that just kept driving you and be like, I should actually do this get it out there and do it in a more professional way? Or did that kind of come?
Yeah, what you're talking about is like the interface between doing what you're doing in your bedroom and then like presenting it to people or asking the world to listen a little bit. And I started doing that as I got older. Yeah, I started emailing people. I started putting it up. I started just trying to get anyone to listen to these EPs or whatever I was putting together. And I guess the turning point was when Annie Mac heard a demo that I'd sent her way, and played it on Radio 1, and then
shout out Annie Mac. That's not, you know, she's on a huge platform, and actually to take a unsolicited demo from an unknown producer is quite a wild thing. It's actually quite reassuring that someone at the BBC is still doing that.
This is why I like have a huge belief in radio and Radio 1, because she had no reason to do that. You know what I mean? Like Radio 1 have their programming and they have their ways of doing things and the way they accept music. And in 2021, Annie Mac just decided to platform an unknown producer, an unknown song, an unknown track. There's no plugging agency. There's nothing behind it. And it opened up the doors for me to make this an entire career. So yeah, shout out Radio 1. Annie Mac pretty much changed my life in like one day in 2021.
Everyone in this room wants to know how you got her email.
It's a weird story. I was doing something. I was emailing out an album I'd made to 5 people every night.
Really?
Yeah.
That methodical?
Sometimes it was 6. I don't know. Like, yeah. Every night, emailing. It wasn't just radio DJs. It was anyone. And Sarah Story replied. She was covering for Annie Mac one night, and she replied and said, "I'm going to play this." And I was so gassed. I was like, "This is, I've waited years for this." I told everyone to listen, and that was the day Prince Philip died. Okay, so if you don't know, what happens when a member of the royal family dies is all of BBC turns into mourning, and they just play, that's the broadcast.
Fucked it, Philip.
Oh man, for getting in the way. So
trying to be a fucking star here.
So Sarah's Story, and she's still, do you know what? I'm still in contact and still selling her music, but she took a chance, and it didn't happen because of the Prince Philip thing. R.I.P. And through that, I got the name of the producer and got his email, and I said, "Listen, mate, my tune was about to get played. Is there any way I can send you more music?" Yeah. And he said yes. So I sent him more music for the next few weeks, and then one day I get a DM on Instagram saying, "Sorry this is late, but congrats on the hottest record." And
from Annie Mac herself?
From the producer.
Okay.
And then I was tuned in late, and then like rewinded. I was like, it actually happened. And basically, he'd put forward the music that I'd sent him, and Annie was hot on it, and she made it her hottest record for that week. And then basically the doors opened, and I'd like gone my life up until then thinking that this thing in music, it doesn't happen overnight, but it happened overnight.
That's mad. I didn't actually know that story. And then what happened there? Did people just started hitting you up, or?
A lot of people started hitting me up. Yeah, it was like wading through weeds. It was just emails and things started picking up, and then it's quite stressful, to be honest. When it happens like that, and I didn't really.
Who are you?
I know. It was sleepless nights, to be honest, because I was like, the next moves are gonna either make or break this, and I really felt that pressure. And it was a lot of meets. It was during COVID. It was a lot of Zooms, a lot of chatting to people, and a lot of figuring out what they want from me and what I want.
Like, we've kind of just got straight into the deep end of the music and how, I guess, the career launched, but where were you in your personal life? Because you were studying to be a vet, right?
I was, yeah.
Yeah.
I was halfway through my degree, which was 6 years long. And this happened during COVID, where COVID happened and everyone just went home. And I was having a great time. I was like, I could just work on music. Yeah. So that was halfway through my veterinary degree. And when that started happening, it was quite a surreal thing, because I knew that I had to go back to clinical school and do the next 3 years. And it made me sort of think about, what do I want? Priorities, exactly. You're right. And my priorities, I suppose, were, I think I can do both. So I did both for the next 3 years.
So you finished your degree? I
finished my degree, yeah. In 2024. So I'm a qualified vet. Pick up the vet.
If anyone's got a sick pet,
don't send them my way, because I'm a bit rusty.
One thing when we spoke last week, you said is that actually, obviously, this is something that I think many people in the room, including myself, struggle with, is when you work and you do loads of things, the freedom to make music is quite a treasured commodity that's in scarce. It's not, and you actually said that in the times when you were studying full time, what I'm assuming is quite a intensive course, 6-year course, but you never suffered from writer's block because you only had these small windows, and that almost like focused you, or you were just like ready to go when you finally got in the studio or got on the
You're right.
laptop. Or
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if anyone's had the experience of you've set aside a day or 2 days or a week or whatever to write music, and you get there and it's like, okay, I'm here, I'm ready, everything's plugged in, nothing's coming, and you're just like, I guess it's writer's block. But the thing about when you're doing something else full time is the entire time you're thinking, oh, I've got this idea, I really wish I could just put this down, something's coming, because you're taking in life and you're taking in experience, and you kind of need that input to make output. And that's the thing about being on the railroads of a veterinary degree, is that there was a lot of opportunity to be inspired and to think about things that weren't, injecting pets or doing castrations. And
some poor cat's getting terrible treatment because you got some bouncing bass line in your head.
Exactly. Yeah. So when it got to that holiday, or when it got to the weekend, or when it got to like the evening, I was so charged up with ideas that writer's block wasn't even a thing. And I thought, oh, maybe I just don't get writer's block. Maybe I'm built different or whatever. And then I finished my degree and moved to London. And then suddenly it's like, all right, okay, now I can finally do that thing I was thinking about for 6 years. And it's really difficult when that's all you need to do, When there's no input, it's quite hard to transmute anything into output. So it actually helped a lot to have something, and also the safety of being on a degree, safety of having a job, safety of this. It sort of has you going at a certain pace in which you can fill in your gaps with fun. And that's how I felt while I was on my degree. I never felt like this is too much, this is, I'm getting overwhelmed here. It felt like I just need to make it to the point at which I can jot down ideas. Mm-hmm. And it was quite a nice sort of setup for me.
Yeah. You mentioned like moving to London, and then suddenly I guess that's when music became more serious. But we just talked in there by the bar, and you were saying you were watching CDRs, and all the producers are like, yeah, was there like plastic people and this and that, but you were actually quite removed from the club and that sort of environment. A lot of people get into electronic music because of that, while yours was kind of like being online, I guess.
It was. I mean, I wasn't at any clubs really for a lot of my life. My experience of electronic music and just music was online, and that's how I would become inspired during those years. And sometimes I felt a little bit insecure about the fact that I didn't have those like live experiences, but I think that's kind of translated into the music I make a little bit, because and I'm thinking like, does this work club wise first? Or I wasn't for a long time, and the music has come out that way, I think, a little bit.
Yeah. That may lead a little bit onto the actual sort of like process that you've got, because one thing you told me is that most of your music is all sample based, right?
Now it is, yeah. It's samples left, right, and center. Yeah.
Yeah. Even to the point where you said you don't really use VSTs. It's like chopping audio.
Barely. Yeah, barely. I don't have any plugins or anything. Yeah.
This is wild.
I don't. I think when people talk to me about plugins, I don't care about plugins.
Yeah.
No. I love cutting and chopping bits that I've like scored from YouTube or scored from a record, and Logic has a great deal number of really sound like basses and synths and stuff, and I make do with those really. It's not a big part of my process at all.
One thing you said, which I guess harks back to 11, 12, 13-year-old you making your artwork, making your track names, the body, thinking of the finished product, is actually you're like goal focused. Like, this is the EP record I want to make, and then what's the process? You're just like digging around for samples until you find something that hits the goal of because you told me that I don't want to put words into your mouth, so maybe you explain it, but you have the end goal and then you work backwards. Do you want to talk about that?
That's exactly it. It's exactly it. I call it working backwards and sort of filling in gaps. So when I make music, I conceptualize the end, whatever it is. If it's an album, it's an EP, it's a mixtape, whatever. And I what is this? Is this meant to be a beat tape in Sri Lanka? Is this meant to be a 4-volume club anthology? Is this meant to be, and I have that as the North Star, and I fill in the tracks. And for me, that's working backwards, and the tracks kind of like slot in. And I know that I want a track to be a little bit more accessible, a little bit more maybe vocal led, a little bit more that brings people in. I know that I want some tracks for the people who want to dig a little bit more. I know I want an intro and I want an outro, and every project has worked like that. So I start at the end, whether it be I made an album in Sri Lanka, whether it be a beat tape like that, whether it be a compilation of Bollywood edits. I knew I wanted to do that before I made the edits. Whether it be right now, what I'm doing is I'm making this like multi-volume. What is my sound in the club?
The AK cuts.
That's it.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm doing. I'm filling in and you know what? When you put in a track, that's not the be all and end all. I then make, I'm constantly making music, and if I make a track that fits that purpose better and does that job better than the track that's currently there, it goes. And that's like a survival of the fittest sort of.
Does that mean you shelf a lot of ideas because it's not going towards that North Star?
I just kill them.
Do you revisit them?
Yeah. Okay, if a track is being superseded by a better track that does the same thing, it goes in a temporary bin, but I love harvesting that for parts for a later thing.
Yeah.
And it's happened a bunch of times.
Yeah. So before we get into the DAW, there were some songs you wanted to play.
Well, I wanted to show you an example of this survival of the fittest approach.
Okay, yeah.
So I don't know how well people know a song that I've put out called Divana. It's something I play in every single set I've ever.
So some nods.
Some nods? Okay, great.
Some nods.
It's a song that I play in every single set I play because I'm so happy with it, which is like it's not a common thing really for me. But I knew that I wanted to flip the Ye Mera Dil Asha Bhosle sample, and I kept trying. And I actually did it 4 years ago. And this is the tune here I've got up on here. I did it 4 years ago and it wasn't quite right. And then further iterations, I made the one that actually came out. But I want to show people the early version and see what you think.
Yeah.
I think it's worse. If someone thinks it's better and I should have released that, I'm not happy.
Okay.
But it probably will happen. This is,
This is the early version.
This is an early version of that track. It's more fun, to be honest. It's more maximalist.
I'm just impressed I've never seen anyone play anything from an unlisted YouTube link as opposed to SoundCloud or your iTunes or... That's quite a wild way of storing your music.
Yeah. I put it out. No one was listening.
Oh, you actually put it out?
Yeah,
and then you just unlisted it?
Look.
Oh, okay.
Who's watching in 2022?
Oh, so you put it out and then took it back?
I put it out and took it back.
Okay, yeah, right.
I do that a lot.
Do you?
Look, it has this... If anyone knows the track that I actually put out, it's this weird this one has a weird sample in it. It's kind of like too much, is what I would say. The idea was to flip the Ye Mere Dil sample, but at this point in time, I thought I had to do a lot more to it.
Yeah.
But actually... should I just play?
Are you going to play the version?
I'll play the version I put out.
Yeah.
Anyone who's seen me play this I play this in every set, and it's very rare for me to have a song that I actually stand behind like this.
Let's hope for no ads because he doesn't have YouTube Premium. If not,
let's hope for some signal.
Jet 2, here we go. Oh no!
The tension is real.
Do you have it on iTunes? Oh, here we go.
Here we go. Maybe. Let me skip some intro. I'm gonna skip.
Yeah. I would say the second one's better.
Second one's better. I'm so glad.
What do you think?
Yeah. It's called exercising restraint, which is something I didn't know 4 years ago.
Right, okay.
I was just adding everything on. I was like, there needs to be more synths. There needs to be another sample in there. Actually, that sample is so beautiful on its own.
Yeah.
You just need that moment of when the progression changes, and that's enough. You know, have the guitar going the whole time, and it's restraint, which is something I've learned over time.
So this thing of the progression changing.
Yes.
You've got a reference of...
Well, yeah.
An influence, or what would you call it?
DNA for me.
DNA.
Like, you asked me on the phone, okay? You asked me, like, have there been any, like, breakthrough moments in, like, when you've been exploring music and exploring the studio? And I have to be honest with you guys, like, my biggest influence in how I write music is Avicii.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
I think we can say that more sincerely than Prince Philip.
Fuck yeah. No, rest in peace, Avicii. Yeah, it's honestly, I've never been more obsessed with an artist, and to put it in a nutshell, what Avicii taught me was melody and and not just melody. It's the sense of having a melody that hangs high above the track and just repeats in a very repetitive way. Okay, and what he did in his writing was change progression underneath, change bass lines, and it just brings about a feeling in me. And because I was so young when I was consuming all this stuff, it's been written into my DNA and my dopamine about what I actually like about music. Mm-hmm. And it's something I do in every track now. I'll show you an example. I'm going to play some Avicii at CDR. Is that all right?
I think that's okay, yeah. We've got the thumbs up? We've got the thumbs up. Avicii at CDR, let's go.
I don't know how many of you are familiar with Avicii. Avicii's B-sides. It's not on Spotify.
Deep cut.
A deep cut. So you've got this some melody. He hangs it on this. He hangs it on a major for a long time. And then when he brings in his like progression underneath it, it makes you feel something, or it makes me feel something. So that's the major. He does this in every track.
Literally every track.
All of it. I learned them all on piano as a kid. Wow. And they all do this. They all have a melody that stays on a root. And then for the chorus drop, whatever you want to call it, he brings in this beautiful, it just goes down into something else. It drops down into like a relative thing, and then it just moves, and then you hear the melody differently, and it makes you feel something. See if you feel it.
So we're also going to go into the sample as well.
Well, yeah, but I mean, this is the thing that people don't know about Avicii is he's a big sample guy. Like, like almost like some of those melodies he's just pulled from like crazy places. This is an example of that melody. He's pulled from this, which just for me, like I didn't know it at the time, but
ironically, I'm more familiar with Penguin Cafe Orchestra than I am with Avicii.
There you go. Yeah.
Sick.
That's it.
Give it up for Avicii and Penguin Cafe Orchestra.
Honestly.
And so is this something you heard like before you started? Well, I guess probably during, yeah. I mean, and it changed the way how you like thought about the arrangements and how to progress a song.
It's still, it changed the way that I make music, because I used to think for a long time you just need to come up with that melody. That's going to be the melody, you know? And like that was a big thing during that EDM, Swedish House Mafia, whatever, like coming up with a big melody. But actually, like the way I make music now is it's more about the progression and changing the progression. And you're asking about process, and I think like there's no better way to show you process by showing you something I'm currently working on.
Yeah.
So I'll do that.
Yeah, let's do that.
And sort of tell you why Avicii is at the core of everything I do. So, okay. This is something I'm working on now. This is I've got the sample here, okay? So you can just hear the sample.
Yeah.
Don't ask where it's from. So here we go. This to me is a cool loop. And then for me, like my process, step 1, 2, 3, 4 is I've got this. What do you put under it as a bass line? So I've got here like this is Logic's bass or whatever, right? And I don't know how the, you know, if people know music theory, if people don't know music theory, if people care. For me, I don't know that much music theory. I learned piano a little bit, but I wasn't very good. I don't think you need music theory to know that, you know, you've got the keys here. That sounds like home to me. But it sounds like quite a happy home. So you can also go for the relative minor, which all that means is, for a D, that's a B. And that's a different feeling. So in the studio here, I'm sort of thinking, do I want this to be a warm, major, happy? Or do I want this to be a bit more? Or both? So you just play around, right? So you can... That's a different feeling. That's a different feeling. That's what you're expecting something there. So all I would say is, you know, no matter how much music theory you have, there's only 8 notes, or 12 notes, you know, like, how does it make you feel? And this is, I'll show you what I ended up with. This is a demo. I could listen to this over and over again, and that's kind of like, that's all I'm trying to aim towards. Start plucking other stuff. That's how I make it. Oh, thank you.
Give it up for that.
Demo, innit? Yeah.
That's a pretty good way of explaining it. And then, you know, you said there's not much MIDI, there's not much plugins, there's not much VSTs, there's not much soft synths. So like with that, obviously you were kind of showing the different emotions a bass line can have. And then those extra samples, those little vocals that come in, is it from the same sample? Is it, because I think something that we referenced was almost like a patchwork of ideas, a la Avalanche's, DJ
Yep.
Shadow.
Yep.
So is it just like hours of trying to find the right thing that fits within this patchwork, or like how does that work?
It's not hours, no. You're right, it is a patchwork of things. The Avalanche's, Madlib, all of that kind of influence has led me to this patchwork of, you know, like it has to be taken from 10 billion different things and just weave it together. It's not hours though. Weirdly, I'm kind of okay with whatever, because I think it can all work. This, I mean, again, God knows where it came from.
You just don't want to say on YouTube.
No. Genuinely, I don't know. And the way I sample is by ripping from YouTube.
Yeah.
I rip from YouTube with a Chrome extension, and I don't know. I don't make any record of what I've taken or where I've taken it.
Yeah.
And
honestly, officer, I had no idea.
I really. So you get this kind of stuff, and do you know what? I don't know where it came from, but it works, and like I just keep doing that. That's the process. It's the what do you want to be there the whole time? This. That's quite addictive, and then once you figured out like your mood from the bass line, because the bass line can give you so much in terms of mood, then it's just dressing. It's just window dressing.
Yeah. So are you just on like mad YouTube wormholes?
Yep.
Or like what are you putting in that search bar?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Yeah.
But you find your own wormhole. Honestly, for me, I know vaguely where to look now, and harvest 2 seconds or 1 second from something, but it's not necessarily about what I'm typing in. It's about what happens when I hear it, and what happens when you hear something. It's going to be completely different, and it's to do with your dopamine wiring of your brain. And it happened for me through a lot of Avicii and a lot of that kind of like very melodic, ultra melodic sounds. But for you, it might be more a rhythm, a percussive element. It might be a sonic rather than the melodic part of it. So lean into whatever you...
And you're all in the box.
Yeah.
Because I almost feel like some of the reference you've given, like Madlib and stuff, like almost like sampler and gear might well, a sampler in particular would be something that would...
But you have to think like, whatever you're into, you need to figure out why you're into it.
Yeah.
And I'm not into Madlib for his process.
Well, he ended up making his recent stuff on an iPad.
Right, exactly. And that's thrilling to me. And you have to figure out this sort of thing of like, whatever you like, and you have to be really indiscriminate with acknowledging what you like, whether it be Aphex Twin, whether it be Cardi B, whether it be Baby Shark, whatever you like, you need to figure out what it is you like about it. Because saying you're into Daft Punk can mean 10 million things to different people. It can be about the French touch thing, or it can be about how they got who's the Strokes?
Lucky.
Well, right, like Julian Casablancas to sing in a vocode or whatever. It can be different things, and like I realized that I was into the things that I'm into, not because of who they were or because of what they did, but because of certain things. Like an example for me would be like, I absolutely love The Life of Pablo by Kanye West. And it's not necessarily because of what he's saying at all. In fact, I couldn't tell you what he said on that record at all. It's because of the absolute, like, the way he cracked apart song structure on some of those tunes. Famous goes into a Nina Simone flip that I've just never heard anything like that in anywhere else. And it's that aspect of it.
He did it on Yeezus when he broke into the gospel track from the super electronic Daft Punk.
Exactly.
Track.
You know what I mean? Like, there's so many. I would say, right, and I had this in my head to say was, if you're trying to find your sound, you need to be really indiscriminate in terms of acknowledging what you like and what you have that dopamine flicker towards. Whatever it is, turn your brain off for that, and once you've collected it, turn your brain back on and figure out, what is it about Charlie XCX that I absolutely love? Is it the fact that she did what she did in an album format, or is it more like a vocal processing and the way that works? And you pick your bits from each influence and then weave them together. It's hard, but I think that's the trick. If you want your sound, you have to try and weave together the specific influences from wherever they are, and then you've got it.
You said you're almost a goal was to move away from samples.
Did I say that?
You said you were like
maybe I said that.
Maybe work with some musicians, or I don't want to say too much.
I do. Yeah.
Management would be very happy about that.
I know. Yeah, it would make life a lot easier. But maybe I don't have that much to say about that.
Yeah, fair. This is your process right now.
It's yet to be embarked upon, I think, for me.
Yeah.
Because the thing about samples...
But one thing you said, which is in terms of like logical next steps, you kind of got into DJing, and I was like, would you know, DJing's become a part of your career now. Would you perform live, not DJing, like actually do live? And you were like, if I were to do that, I'd want to do it with musicians, and that was something that you were like,
with a band,
100%,
yeah.
And that's like kind of like, I feel like you're very like focused, North Star kind of person, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to do an electronic live show because I don't use any gear. I don't really have any idea about how to do that.
Yeah.
I think for me, like, the next step for me is to really make some music where I can perform it with a band and just do that whole thing, because that's the music I love. And I love electronic music, of course. But for me, the next step is absolutely standing on a stage with a bass guitar, as opposed to knobs.
We didn't even ask you. I know you play a bit of keyboard, but what instrument do you play? Bass and like what?
No, I'll learn it though. It can't be that hard.
You're pretty good on the keyboard.
Pretty good on the...
One thing I forgot to mention in your intro, because it just casually dropped yesterday on your Instagram, but you scored a Prada advert.
Yeah.
Just like casual. You forgot to mention that when we spoke last week.
No, yeah. I mean, like...
It's just a Prada advert. It's nothing.
Yeah, the guy... So I played his show in New York, and this producer came to it, and he met me after, and he said, dude, I loved it. Like, we need to work together. And I was like, yeah. and then it came through. He's like, oh, I'm doing this thing for Prada. And I was like, okay, we want you to score it. And through a few tries, we got there, and it's come out now. So yeah, I guess. But that's, that's what it is. Prada wants something very specific, and it takes a bit to get there. But that's a different sort of enterprise, really.
It's so funny how you can so happily and enthusiastically talk about Thomas the Tank Engine, but when it comes to scoring a Prada advert, like, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, is. How are you finding where you're at in the industry? Starting as a music maker in your bedroom, DJing, and now, going on this. How are you finding navigating it?
It's fine, honestly. There's I don't know. What are you getting at? It's fine.
I don't know. Just like, in terms of like, what your goals, what your aims? Are you happy where you are? Are you just striving for more?
Striving for more, always.
Yeah.
I've always been striving for more. And I always will be. And that's kind of the curse of striving for more, is you're always striving for more.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's necessarily doing Prada scores. I think it's, I really want to put out albums, and I love albums. And all I ever wanted was to join the ranks of those album artists that I've looked up to for many years. Bodies of work, yeah, absolutely. I'm never, ever...
Did I imagine that you wanted to make 10 albums by the time you're... Have I imagined that?
Yeah, no, well
you
remembered.
Said that, right?
Jesus Christ, yeah, well remembered. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to be 10.
You were like, oh, I was like, well, just wing it, mate. Like, you thought I did no research, didn't you?
I can see you've delved deep.
Yeah.
No, I want to put out albums. Absolutely. I mean, I love artists who put out albums, and I feel like...
You think it's a dying art form?
I don't know if... Well, I mean, yeah, maybe. I don't know. You tell me. I don't speak to many people.
I think there's not the same appreciation for it.
Yeah.
As I don't want to give away my age, but I'm older than you.
Yeah.
I don't think there's the same appreciation for it as when I fucking grew up, and you would save up your money, you buy a record, and you would listen to that record. And when you invested your money in a record, it's not like a DSP where suddenly you just flick around on playlists and some algorithm. Hi, I'm X, like tells you what to listen to. Even if you didn't like it, you spent your money on it. So you actually listened to that record back and forth until you learn it off by heart. And then eventually you would just be like, oh, I see what the artist is getting at. Or you'd be like, it's rubbish, I wasted my money. But there's not that same investment in time and energy. And it's actually very nice to see someone as young as you, from 11-year-old in your bedroom, being like, caring about the body of work with the artwork and the track titles and the names and what does it represent, what does it say, what's the thing here,
When you get into an artist, whenever they've released their stuff, my favorite thing in the world is to listen to their output as if it's a painting or a film that's unfolding over time. And you get into albums that you might know the single from, and then you discover those tracks surrounding it, and then your favorite keeps changing. And that's how you know you love an artist, right? When your favorite song keeps changing, and then you're like, really, it's like Bowie, right? Like, as a kid, I knew
Barry Can't Swim.
No, David Bowie.
Oh, Bowie. Okay.
Bowie.
Yeah.
It's like, as a kid, I knew Starman, I knew Life of Mars and stuff. And then when you explore those albums, it's like, almost like you skip those ones. It's like, no, I want to get to like the one I really, really love, you know what I mean? And it's that kind of exploration process where like, I love that. I want to facilitate that for others. And you can't do that in this single mindset. I would never put out a tune on its own and be like, that's it. Even the tune with Hag Up, we made a tune and it was like, this is a good tune. And we have to make another one because I'm not ready to just put out a single. I really want people to have something else to dig into. That's the concept of a B-side. And it's a beautiful concept, as you know.
While we're here, I want to prep the audience to, if they've got any questions, please have it in mind. But just the idea of collaboration and, what draws you to collaborate with a certain artist, and is it like a sound? Is it a people thing?
With Hag Up, it was this tune. Can I play it?
Yeah, of course. This
one is an example of a tune that cracked apart my idea of what song structure was when I was shown it. Hag Up Chaparian is the artist.
Great club, terrible Wi-Fi.
Terrible Wi-Fi, come on guys. Yeah, what a...
The YouTube fade out, I like it, smooth.
Well versed.
Shout out to Hag Up.
When you hear that,
did you know Hag Up when you heard that? And you were just like, I want to make a tune.
It's just sort of like when you listen to that, it's just like, what the hell was that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like,
I didn't know you were... What was it?
I don't know. I was like, are you allowed to do that? But I loved it. I don't know, maybe, like for me, that was like, I respect the balls on this guy to do that. And when you meet him, he's just the loveliest guy in the world.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? But I really, that really excites me in the electronic music space. Someone pulling from their roots and basically making something as gregarious as that.
Yeah.
And that excited me to work with him. Same with Bolty.
Yeah, one. If you haven't checked out Stunt Double's promotional material, it's maybe some of the most fun stuff I've ever seen on the internet, and it just seems like free people just having fun, well as obviously the music that you're making. There's like a whole idea and story behind it, which is, and in fact, actually, that's the context in which I met you at Glastonbury, and you're just there talking about like the outfits and the whole concept behind that. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I mean, it's great to have fun with people that you're making music with. If you meet minds and you're kind of like on the same page instantly, that's all the work done for you. If you're shooting at the same thing and you think the same thing is cool and the same thing's not cool, then you just have fun. Do you know what I mean? And that was what it was with the Baltic guys, and it's just been fun. I don't know what else to say. Like, I still think it's a miracle that we met.
There's like a South Asian influence on it, and obviously being a brown person myself, is that something that's like very important to you? Is it a sort of a concerted effort on your part? Is it just something you're drawn to as a sort of sound?
I'm drawn to music that resonates with me, and a lot of South Asian music from the 80s and 90s resonates with me. Does it resonate with me because I'm South Asian? I have no idea. But I love the sound of shrill strings and shrill female vocals, distorted. I love the sound of the melodics. You have to remember, a lot of Bollywood music is dance music inherently. And that really, I love that era when disco musicians went across the world and made all this fusion music. So I love it. Is it super conscious? I'm not sure. I think
are you hesitant to be defined by it?
I don't think you could define
like
me
being
by
pigeon.
Yeah, 100% get what you're asking. I just don't. I don't think I could be. It's not something I'm worried about. I would hesitate to be defined by anything really, and I think like, just because it's so wide in terms of the stuff that I like and pull from, I'm really happy to lean heavily into it and have fun with it, like we did with Balti.
Yeah, that was really leaning into it.
It was leaning heavily. It was leaning heavily, but there's no worry. Yeah, I just kind of like what I like, and I think it's, it's interesting because it's what I was saying earlier about, I like Kanye West, but for what? Or I like the Smiths, but what about the Smiths do I love? And like with Bollywood, it's like, I like Bollywood, but there's a lot I don't love about it. So it's figuring out what part of it did I like, what part of it do I want to lean into, what part of it do I want to interpret and recycle into what I'm doing. And that's the same with anything. It's not just South Asian influence. I love Northern Soul growing up, but it's just about picking those sensibilities that you feel like really do set off that dopamine reaction in your brain, and then transmuting them into something that stays true to all of them. And that's all I'm trying to do.
I think that's a good way to end, I think, actually. Can everyone give it up for Anish Kumar, please?
Yeah, thank you. Yes.
We got a microphone. If anyone has a question, just stick your hand in the air and Sean will hand you a microphone.
That was a lot quicker than I was expecting, really. On a similar topic to kind of what you were just talking about, the early demo you showed us of Nightwalker felt quite reminiscent of Jaipal. pronunciation uncertain, but like I was wondering if you had any inspiration or kind of anything from that, and also you mentioned Bonobo earlier, a huge inspiration for me, and I was wondering if you could talk on either of those artists at all.
Great artists. I like J. Paul's album. I think any artist that dedicates a lot of thought and time to putting together an album, and a very varied album at that, is something. That's what I take from J. Paul, I think.
Although really they're leaks.
Yeah, well,
and he's actually unhappy about the whole situation. I once spoke to him about it. I thought it was marketing hype, but it's genuinely real.
I can I can imagine.
Yeah,
their tunes though,
fucking bangers.
So yeah, immense respect. I don't know if I take anything directly. I love the way that he spun the sample in Straight Outta Mumbai. Just from a technical standpoint, I love that it comes in so late into the song, and maybe that's a common thread with a lot of things. I think I like a lot of tracks that change up with no apologies
and unexpectedly
2/3 into the track.
Yeah,
I love that. That's restraint, in my opinion.
Yeah. Great. Anyone else? Someone at the front as well.
Hi. You mentioned the importance of listening to a wide range of music and then kind of identifying exactly what it is that you like about everything that you listen to. Do you ever find yourself listening to an artist who inspires you and you have no idea how they do what they do, or what you can't discern anything in particular that you like about it, but you just love that music?
Do you have an example that's come to your mind for that?
I actually hadn't thought of an example myself, but given that you said you feel that that's so important, do you ever find that like a difficult thing to do?
I guess there's like a different framing of the question, because a lot of the times when you hear an artist and you're figuring out what they want to do, you're trying to replicate that sound in Serum or the process and the effects chain. While I guess when it's sample based, you're just like, let me loop that and chop that, right? Like,
I don't really know. I mean, I think maybe what you're asking is like, is there something that's not so easily discernible about an influence, just a general influence?
Yeah, not necessarily for production, but just like listening to music and not being able to work out what it is that you're so drawn to.
Are you asking whether I can turn it off? No.
If there's a particular artist that you feel that way with.
Oh, God. It's not coming to mind. But that's not to say that I can't listen to music and just have fun and enjoy it. But a lot of the artists I like and albums I love, I think I do understand why I like them. And maybe that's a curse. I don't know.
Are you constantly listening to music going, I can sample that?
No, not that I can sample that. It's more that just
how do I get that feeling?
It's hard to turn off the inspiration. Yeah, it's hard to be like, I'm listening to this, but not in the context of I'm a musician. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
It's hard to turn that off.
Yeah. Yeah, fair. It's like I can't be in the club and not think of it also from the perspective of me DJing as well. I'm just like, oh, I see what they did there with that mix, and you know, thinking about how I would do it as well.
Certain things can help with that.
yeah, true. That is true. Next question.
Hello, the mic's still at the back. I was interested in the fact that you were saying you didn't really grow up with going to the club that much because it was COVID and you were studying, and obviously we're in an amazing club right now that's drawing to a new chapter that's closing. But when did you have that first like proper moment where you felt this is how electronic music should be listened to. I'm kind of locked in, and with my friends, I'm focusing like who was playing, what kind of like made you shift the way that you listen to music and interact from being online to feeling it physically?
Great question.
It's a great question, and I think like I have to be honest in the sense that it didn't really happen with electronic music for me. For me, it was I don't feel really part of club culture in that way. At my core, I'm someone who loves writing music, but I'm not necessarily a DJ, to be honest. If I'm at home and I have time, I'm on Logic. I'm not spinning records. And don't get me wrong, I love going out and I love experiencing DJ sets and DJs that I look up to. But I'm still wanting to write albums, and that's sort of my purpose within the industry, I think.
But a lot of the music you make is for the dance floor.
Yeah, but I'm not necessarily thinking about it like that.
You're not?
Not really. No. That's what happens when you grow up with electronic music, but not in the club space. It's
so
just music. And I make music now. I like the sound of a 4-on-the-floor beat and repetitive samples and repetitive loops and stuff. But it's not necessarily connected to a live experience for me. And that's why when we were talking about the next steps, it will be with a band. And I don't get me wrong, I love DJing. But it's not my purpose really.
You're a producer first.
Yeah.
Let's do 2 more questions, and then I know we could probably go. There's a lot of people with their hands up, but
thanks very much. You said you don't have much of a music theory background. I was just wondering what limitations you've encountered as a result of that, and how you've avoided it holding you back.
What sort of music theory? It depends on what kind of music you're making, right? So like, if you're writing melody, if your music is super based on complex jazz melodies or whatever, you better know some music theory, right? But for me, I'm just writing bass lines under stuff, and for me, as I showed you in that project, like for me, the 12 notes are there, and you just keep doing it until something feels right, and that this feels, that sounds wrong, right? So that's what I would say, like, if you want to make music that's not super melodically complex, which I don't think mine is. I think it's melodic music, but I don't think it's melodically complex.
So I've got a question. You say you're not using MIDI, so you're not drawing stuff in, you're just like jamming like that until you find the melody that you're like, that's it. So you're just recording like a long jam of you.
100%. If you look at this thing, all the notes are they're off.
They're not even quantized.
They're off, right? And I'm not saying I'm going to keep them like this, but I'm also not saying I'm going to quantize them. Okay, so like I feel like we can over egg the importance of getting the notes right and I listened to the Yusu CDR talk, and she's someone who's like incredibly melodically trained, right? And she was saying like, actually the breakthrough was sort of letting go of a wrong note here, a wrong rhythm here. Like, just let go of it. It doesn't matter, unless it does matter for you, which is part of your process. But if whoever asked the question, if you're feeling constrained by the fact that you don't know music theory, there's 2 routes to go down. It's either to make it work for you in the music you're making, or learn music theory. You know what I mean? Learn it to the extent that you need it. There's only 12 notes.
Final question.
Hello. Over here.
Hello. I was hearing how, it's rolling back to a bit of your younger Anish, I was hearing how there was a lot of persistence in your methodology, this 5-6 emails every evening. And I'm curious to know what fueled the resilience of the rejections that must have come along with that.
I'm glad you asked that, because I actually made a thing in my head to talk about making it in the music industry. And what your question you're asking is speaking towards
a feeling we probably all relate to.
Yeah, right. Like, does everyone want to make it in the music industry here, or we chill with doing our thing? I feel like we want to make it, right? And it's something that's not talked about.
Yeah.
Aside from those like TikToks that are like, here's 5 things to get people to listen to your Spotify. Like, making it in the music industry for me is like it's a meeting of 2 things. It's a meeting of making enough noise by yourself. It reaches a fever pitch, and it's the rest of the world starting to listen to you. And once those 2 things happen, the doors open and the things start to facilitate, and the catalyst starts to burn, right? You asked about sending 5 emails a night. Making it in the music industry is all I ever wanted for a long time. And I didn't really know what making it meant, and I still don't. And I don't think I will, because making it is a concept, and I just believe in it. The resilience, I would be lying if I said that, you get so far and then you realize, this mix sounds terrible compared to whatever, and you lose all faith. But I was addicted to opening Logic, and the next day I would start the next project, and that's sort of what kept me afloat, and that's what still keeps me afloat. As soon as I get sick of, if I feel hard done by, or I feel like I've not done it, like things haven't worked out, I can, it's all right to exist in that feeling, but 2 days later I open Logic and start again. And it's that addiction, and it's that, that's where I get my dopamine from. That's why I'm doing it. That's my purpose. So that's sort of the resilience, what you speak to. Did you have anything specifically? No, yeah, that's it. It's an addiction, because that's the only thing I wanted.
And I said it was the last question when I asked a little mini question.
Go on.
Those 5 emails a day.
Yeah.
How long did you do that before the Annie Mac thing happened? Or like,
how many days did I keep sending him? What I did was I made a mixtape, okay? I made a mixtape with Little Miss Dynamite, Blackpool Boulevard, and 8 other tracks. And I did that over COVID, and I did this thing. I think for, I don't know, honestly, in the number of days, the number of months, but I did it for a while.
Long enough that you can't remember.
I did it long enough, but I wasn't tired of it either. I would have done it for another.
It was just part of your daily practice.
It was. I don't know how to say it. It's what I had to do.
I'm asking because I'm actually. It's such a simple concept,
like
but it shows a level of dedication that's quite. And
it's not like you do it for 8 months and then it happens. The thing about this thing of making it, all right, is like you just keep rolling the dice. You have to keep rolling the dice. Yeah. As soon as you stop rolling the dice, your chance drops to 0%, and there's nothing anyone can do with that. If you keep rolling the dice, and you keep optimizing the chance that someone will listen, you keep making your product more undeniable, it will happen. You just have to keep rolling the dice, and most people stop, and I know that from friends.
Ladies and gentlemen, Anish Kumar.